What's up, my bookish stars? It's your girl Nika. Are y'all ready? Y'all, I read 10 books in the month of April. Let's get into it. Y'all, I cannot believe when I picked out all the books that I read in April because I couldn't remember all of them. But I had to go back to my TikTok and actually look to see what I read in the month of April. It's 10 books. Whew, I cannot believe it, y'all. I can't believe it. I read a series in 1 week. I love that for me. So I did do a video yesterday, just chatting away on things and showed you my new releases. Not like I got new release. My new books that I purchased. So I had that video yesterday and they are right here. Haven't put those up yet. But let's get into why y'all are here. 10 books. 10 books. Some of them I listened to. Majority of them I did listen to. But I also listened to and read them as well. But I'm just so happy because 10 books. I think this is the first time since I've been doing BookTube that I've read 10 books. But April was a really good month. I really enjoyed all the books that I've read. And honestly, like, I don't have nothing really bad to say about any of the books that I've read. I love that. So let's get into what books. I'm trying to see which one I want to talk about first. And I think I will talk about the one that I don't think I read this one first, but we're going to get into Kelly Reamer book. So the first book is When I Lost You by Kelly Reamer. And this follows Leo and Molly. I really like this book because it did in the beginning remind me of one of my favorite movies, The Vow. And I really like that movie. And just reading and listening to this book, I really did like it. I did give this book a 4 stars. But I really resonated with both of the characters. Now, Leo lost his memory, right? And so it goes back and forth talking about Molly's situation, why she left him, how Leo was, all of those things. But when I say it remind me of The Vow, it's a little bit different than The Vow, but it remind me of The Vow because he loses his memory of them and their relationship. And, you know, telling the story or whatever, he realized how mean he was and he couldn't believe that's how he was. And I love that because it made her, you know, look at him differently. But he was mean. Anyway, and I love, like, their story and their chemistry and all of that. But I did give it a 4 star. It is really a good read. I'm trying to see if I highlighted. I did highlight some things in here in this book. I like this part. It doesn't matter where your life journey begins. The path it takes is still up to you. And then I feel as if I took a nap and woke up and people started insisting I've been out for 4 years and my whole life is now completely different. I don't know how memories are supposed to come back when it doesn't actually feel like any are missing. It sounds like a nightmare. Molly tells Leo. But I highlighted some things in here. It was one more. Let me see. I'm trying to get to some of it. I just had it. So in this part, Leo is talking. I think the key is going to be communicate. And there are going to be lots of things like this that we don't automatically know how to navigate. We need to talk about everything that goes on, even these little things, so they don't become big things. And I thought that was important, especially in any relationship. Like, the little things are important too, as well as the big things. And she said, God, now he wants to talk. Where was this a few months ago when I desperately needed it? If we had talked about little things in the beginning, where would we have ended up? I have no idea, but the possibilities the question raises make me feel unsettled and fragile, and defensiveness he has triggered since I arrived kicks up a notch. And she's kind of bitter because that's all she wanted from him. She wanted that security. She wanted to have those talks. You know, sometimes women want to talk more than men. Now that's not true in all cases, because I know some men who talks more than their wives. So I love to talk about things that are going on, the little things, big things, the middle things, all of that. I just love to get things out and open. But this is really really good. Okay, y'all. So the next book I read was So Not Meant to Be. Y'all, I like this book more than I liked Not So Meet Cute. Yes. Even though that I love that book, I give this a 5 stars as well. I love the banter in this book. I love the chemistry in this book. I just love this book because it just breaks down everything for me. Like being in love, what you're looking for. But this book follows the other one of the brothers. This is a series. Let me back up. This is a series about the Kane brothers. The first one was about Huxley Kane. This one is about J.P. Kane and Kinsley. Kinsley is the sister of Lottie that was in the first book. But I don't want to go into the first book just in case you haven't read it. But that story there, I did a video on there. But this book right here, I love it. And JP meets Kelsey in the first book. So they had a business deal going on. So JP feels like he can't have a friendship or relationship with someone he works with. So that's just one of his things that he put on the table. Like, I can't be friends with somebody I work with. So I love the fact that they end up going on a work trip together. Yo, this is the funniest thing. But before that, certain things happen in the book that leads up to them going to this work trip. And so I love, and they had to stay in the same house, y'all. So it was just so cute. But the thing that Kelsey was looking for, and I'm gonna read it to you. So she's talking to Lottie, and she sees how Lottie and Huxley interact with each other. So that's what she's looking for. Something like that. She said, what I would like is to be a part of a relationship like theirs, which she's talking about Lottie and Huxley, where you're so infatuated with each other that you completely forget the world around you and get lost in each other's eyes. I want to be worshipped. I want to be important in someone's life. I want to be the person someone calls when they need advice or have big news or just want to hear my voice. I love that. She said, I want the real, the ugly, the pettiness that comes with relationship, the teasing, the argument, the laugh, the love, the romance. She wants it all. And this book right here is going to take you on a roller coaster of the chemistry between J.P. Kane and Kinsley. And Kinsley has a podcast, and it's the same name as the first book, I think. But she has a podcast, y'all. And I love the podcast because she have different people who meet and still together, and share their love and how they first met. And I thought that was interesting that it was a part of her podcast and a part of the book. It was really interesting. I love hearing the different stories of relationships. And you can see how it can really help individuals in their relationship. You can see yourself in some of these characters, right? And I did, and I saw myself. It's like, how can I make my relationship better? Because, not saying that it's not good, but how can I make it better than what it is? Because you can. Each and every day is something new. It's something that you learn about your spouse. Something that make you laugh. How do I make him laugh today? How can I make him, smile today? Just something like that. But I just thought this was a good book, y'all. I love this book. I think I like this book better than the first one. Let's move it on. Y'all, the next book, The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. Take a deep breath on this one. Okay, so this follows Sarah Morgan, and her husband name is Adam. And y'all, this was a really good book. I did give this a 4.5 stars, and the only reason I gave it a 4.5 stars is because of the ending. I didn't like the ending. I really didn't. I'm not gonna lie. Did not like the ending, but I love the story. I love the story. I listened to it and I was reading it as I listened to it. But I'm glad I listened to the last part of the book, but it felt short to me. I just didn't really like the ending of the book. And I don't want to give it away or anything. I really didn't. But the book overall was a 4.5 stars. I really did enjoy the book until the last part. Okay? So, Adam is married to Sarah. They have a lake house. And Adam leaves the lake house and find out that his side piece, Kelly Summers, is murdered. And we have to find out who did it. Was it Adam? We don't know. So, all the evidence actually point to Adam. However, there are some things about Kelly that we find out in the story. But guess what? Sarah is a lawyer and takes on her husband case. That's all I've got to say. But I would say read this book, to be honest with you. Listen, I get it. And I would have given it 5 stars, honestly. But I just didn't like how it ended. And some people had no problem with it, and that's cool. But for me, I think I just wanted something else from it. I don't want to give like the story away, but I guess I just wanted more out of what happened, right? So, I mean, you find out what happened, but I think I just wanted some more excitement, I guess, towards the end. I wanted more excitement. Um, and so I didn't, you know, I didn't care for it. So we're going to move on from that story. But, you know, it's a 4.5 stars. I would recommend the book. I really would recommend. I really would recommend this book, but it did fall short for me. But the next book, What Lies Between Us, John Mars. Y'all, let me tell you something. I put this book down twice. The third time I picked it up, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm hooked. I'm so glad I did not DNF this book. I did twice this month. So what I decided to do was I decided to sit down, listen to it, and read it at the same time. And I was like, the first time I picked it up, I just wanted a romance book. The third time I picked it up, no, the first time I picked it up, I wasn't into it. The second time I picked it up, I just wanted a romance book. I wasn't in the mood to read it, but I decided after The Perfect Marriage that I wanted to read What Lies Between Us, and I'm glad that I did. Y'all, this was a roller coaster. This was a really good book that follows Maggie and her daughter Nina. Crazy! Insane! Like, this was a really good book. It was well written to me. But Maggie and Nina's relationship, that daughter, off the chain, that daughter, Nina, was something else, okay? They had so many secrets in their relationship of things that happened to Nina, things that happened to Maggie, and the dynamics of mother and daughter relationship being where Nina was angry, Maggie covered up some things that as a mother she felt like she had to, but in the midst of all of that, Nina becoming really angry. But y'all, this would take you on a roller coaster ride for real. There's so much that Maggie did for her daughter, Nina, that she was not aware of. And in the end, so many lies, so many things, but really good book. Really good book. Really. Okay, so this book is If You Stay, Brittany Cherry. This book came out in April. I just can't remember the date because I did get it on the day that it came out. Was it the 21st? Y'all, I can't even remember. I'll leave it up when it was released. But anyway, Brittany Cherry knocked this out of the park. I think this is, I would say, it was a powerful story. I can say, like, you can tell over the course how her writing has really changed, and this she knocked out the park. So this follows This story follows Gabriel, and that's the male character, and the female character, y'all, is I can't even think of the name, Kiera. So it goes back and forth from when they were teenagers until their 40s. But the prologue was so intense, y'all. It was so intense that I just could not put this book down. I love this book. And it has a lot of trigger warnings in it. And so Kiera is married. He's a biggest jerk. But she loved him. And she wanted her relationship to work based on his daughter. So when they met, he had a daughter that was 5 years old, and she was basically, since they were married, they've been in each other's lives, and she actually called Kiera mother, and what do you do? Do you just stay in a relationship because of the kids, or you let it go? So those are the questions that women have to ask themselves as well, or men have to ask themselves as well. So they had this dinner party, and Gable came in, introduced himself, and Kiera drops her drink, her wine, on her dress, just because she thought she would never see him again. And the chemistry of them, and how Gabriel kind of felt like he knew her, and couldn't, get her off his mind. Yo, I don't want to give this book away, but I love it. I love it. I love it. It was moments in there I just really wanted to knock her husband, to be honest, out. But overall, y'all, this is more than a 5-star for me. I love it. I love that she had like pictures in the book. I love that. I just really love this book. Like, this is one of the books that I would love to read again, and I think that I am. Look at the sprayed edges. It's just pretty. But I'm definitely going to read that book again. So I didn't want to make this video long, but I have 5 more books to go. Y'all, so the next 5 books is part of a series, and here they are. This is the Lexington, Alabama novel series by Mary Monroe. So the very first book, and I know I did a video already on Mrs. Wiggins, and I know I did a TikTok on Mrs. Wiggins, and Mrs. Wiggins, and Love, Honor, and Portray, and Empty Vows. So it actually goes this way. This is the first one, this is the second one, and this is the third one. Now, these 3 actually goes together, the first 3. The last 2 is standalones. So you can read these without knowing anything, because they're not connected to each other. But these 3 are connected. So Mrs. Wiggins is followed by Maggie and Hubert. This story is just so crazy. It's so crazy. And Maggie, what can I say? Mrs. Wiggins was something else. But anyway, It is. You have to be careful what you pray for in this book. Very good book. I rated all of them 5 stars. Some of them are better than others, but they were well written. I loved every last one of them. I wouldn't mind reading Mrs. Wiggins again. And I wouldn't mind reading Bent But Not Broken again. So the next one was The Empty Vows. And this follows the husband, Hubert, and Jesse. Jesse was the best friend of Mrs. Wiggins. So, and then Mary Monroe, Love, Honor, and Portray, y'all. Whew. So Jesse and Hubert, is in this book. I really don't want to give that away because if I read the back of the book, you will know what happened in the first and second book. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but I'm going to tell you the first 3 books are amazing. Okay, Double Lives, y'all. These follows twins. Leona and Fiona Dunbar. What would you do for your twin? Was a name. Double Lives, y'all. Very, very, very good book. What would you do? Would you lie, steal, murder, do whatever for your twin? That Lexington, Alabama got some secrets. That's all I gotta say. Bent But Not Broken. Let me tell you the reason why I really love this book. I knew nothing about Mary Monroe story. And after reading Mrs. Wiggins in the first 4 books, I fell in love with it. But Bent Not Broken, chef kiss. And the reason why I loved it more is because when she writes to her readers, Toni Morrison mentored her. She was a former battered woman. This is where Bent Not Broken came into play. So this book was very personal to her, and she blew it out the park. Blew it out the park. And this book came out this year as well. I can't remember the time frame it came out, but it came out this year. But she written a lot of books. So it was this year. I can't remember the date. But it came out this year. And when I read what she wrote to her readers, to us, I fell in love with it. She was in a toxic relationship and she wrote about it. But not everything, of course, what she talks about in this book, happened, but this was very personal to her. And so I love that she wrote about it. And this book follows Naomi Simmons, Jacob, and I just love it. I love the scandals. I love the twists. I love the turns of this book. I just love how things played. And it was just so well written, so dramatic, so thrilling, to be honest. And what she was searching for was love from the men that she thought would give it to her. And in the end, that's, sometimes it happens, sometimes it don't. So sometimes you feel like a nut, and sometimes you don't. But y'all, on a serious tip, more than a 5-star book for me. But I don't want to give a whole lot away. But let me read you this. She talks about her relationship with Jacob, which is her husband. But she says this about marriage. Getting married was almost like being let out of prison. What my younger self didn't know at the time was that there existed other prisons. Wow. She also says this, that, and my relationship with Jacob saddened me, but only for a brief period of time. There were times when I felt so overwhelmed. I wanted to lie down and give up on my marriage, but I'll give it all I had before I did that. Daddy used to tell me that getting bent was part of life, and that in the end, only the really strong folks didn't break. At the end of the day, they came out better than they were before. Jacob could bend me, but I'm not going to let him or nobody else break me. Tell me that's not good. That's so good. That's so good. So I'm going to end there. Bent, not broken. You don't have to read this book. You can read this one out of order because it has nothing to do with the first 3 books or Double Lives. So these are standalones, but they are part of a whole series. So y'all, I hope that y'all enjoy this video. Like it, comment below if you read any of these books. I hope I didn't share any spoilers. I try not to, but it's kind of hard to talk about books and not talk about what's happening in the books, but right there, bent not broken. Let's see, if you stayed, so not meant. Listen, so not meant to be is funny. I love it. So you need some humor in some of the books that you read. Some of these books are heavy, but in the end, I'm glad that I read all 10 books because nothing was under 4.5 stars. I hope that y'all enjoy it. I will see y'all on my next video.